rest of me is down. You enchant me, even when you're not around. If there are boundaries, I will try to knock them down. I'm marching on them, now I know what I have found.
I see is Mr. Santana. This was your second convention, Santana. Obviously a year into the business now. What was your biggest takeaway, and what are some things that you learned while you were at annual convention?
My biggest takeaway was Mr. Anderson with one of the points that he made was release and refocus. That hit me so deep because, let's be honest, it's not easy to beat Mr. Willis Hicks, and I bet you this month he's coming strong at my throat. You know what I mean? It's so if I hung on to the losses, because whatever I set, whatever I placed, I submitted a lot more than that, and I got a lot of no's before I got those yeses. So if I held on to those no's, I would have shut down. There was times I went 0 for 15, 0 for 10. I just kept going and kept pushing. But not only on the losses, but here's another thing that I struggle with is holding on to the wins. I get complacent. So the losses bring you down and the wins make you complacent. So to try to find that balance of releasing and refocusing, whatever it is, whether it's a win or a loss, okay, that was last month. We're in a brand new month now. We're all back to zero. So what I did last month doesn't matter. And that was last month. I got 11 more months to go. If it was a bad month, it was a bad month. If it was a good month, it was a good month. But it's in the books already, so you got to release it, refocus, and move on. So that's one of the biggest points I did. And then just like Cody mentioned, being around people that expect more out of themselves and out of the people around them, right? Surrounding yourself with excellence, hanging on to someone that's going to push you, not holding on to the people that are going to hold you back. I talked to a couple of people at the convention, and both of them, they were hanging around people, and the whole crowd they were around were issue paying zero. They weren't doing anything. I said, you need to escape from that group and get around people who are actually doing something that's going to push you, that's going to motivate you to keep going. And once they did that, you see them, they're starting to submit numbers now and place numbers now. And that's the big thing, getting yourself around that excellence. So those are the main points I've got out of it that stuck out the most out of me. The whole thing was great, but those things hit me pretty deep because I like to get complacent when money's in the account, when everything's okay. And I think Gage touched on it a couple of times, raising that bar of whatever it is. We all have that number in our head that's in our account, and when we get there, we get complacent. We're like, if it goes beneath that, then we start working hard. So raising that bar up, raising that level of I guess satisfaction, because the higher it gets, the harder you go to strive for it. So those are the biggest points I got out of it, and to remember to always be proud but not satisfied. I'm proud of last month, but I'm not satisfied. I still got 11 months to go. I'm still willing to kill it. So
awesome. I appreciate you sharing. I think that is crucial in this business. Like what Dave Anderson was talking about with athletes is you maybe you have a word, or maybe you have an action where you just reset yourself and you get plugged back in. So after you get hung up on the phone, maybe you say something, or maybe you do something, get up, stretch, do 5 push-ups, whatever you want to do, right? Like you can create your own release and get refocused. But I think that is a big point, because we're going to be going through wins and we're going to be going through losses. And what Santana was touching base on is redefining the zero. And what that means is whatever that number is in your bank account, where it's like, okay, I'm good. Like I got a little bit of breathing room. Whatever that number is, as we continue to grow and as we continue to help families, I think it's super important for you to redefine your zero, whatever that number is in your bank account. Let's say it's $1,000. If you know you got $1,000 in your bank account, you know that you're good, your bills are paid or whatever. But if it gets down to $800, you're like, crap, I need to get this thing back to 1,000 to make myself feel comfortable. So redefining that zero is, if it starts off at 1,000, move that up to 1,500, move that up to 2,000. As you keep, making, protecting families, I should say, and getting stronger, you got to keep redefining that zero. So then you keep going harder and you don't get complacent, like Santana was mentioning. So I really appreciate you touching base on the release and reset, because that is a huge part of this business, is having some type of word, routine, or action that is going to get you to, forget about whatever you heard and keep it moving forward. So thank you for sharing.